How's it going, everyone? Panyo here. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of After Dinner Mints. Before we begin, I highly encourage everyone watching to join us in the Art Blocks Discord. For those watching us on the live stream, there will be people in the community chatting in the Art Blocks Mints channel. So that's the Art Blocks Mints channel. So make sure you jump in there. A link to our Discord can be found in the description of this video. And as always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss an episode of our weekly show. And now I want to introduce our guest for this evening. We have Art Blocks founder and generative artist, Snowfro.
Hey, everybody.
And then we have the head of digital sales at Christie's Auction House, Noah Davis.
Hello, hi, everybody.
Cool. Thank you so much, Noah, for being here this evening. How are we doing?
I'm doing great. I'm loving my terrible camera next to your fantastic camera, and Snowfro's like, okay, camera. Only feeling slightly self-conscious, but I have like a nice hazy glow going on. It's very dreamy.
Nah, it's a nice setup. I love it. I see the switches in the back, in case you need to change the mood lighting a little bit.
Yeah, I'm in this Airbnb. We're in between apartments in New York City, and it's the worst real estate market in the world right now because everyone's just rushing back to New York. So we have a full month between our leases where they didn't overlap. And I'm in an Airbnb.
Well, there you go. Well, we're really happy to have you on this evening, and yeah, we appreciate you. I just want to go ahead and get started. The first question I have for you is, can you just tell us a little bit about your background as it relates to the art world?
Sure, yeah. So definitely was not born into it, which makes me very different from probably a lot of people in the art world. But I knew when I was in college at NYU that I wanted to be in a creative industry, and it was either going to be music or movies or literature. And I actually really liked those three things more than art probably at the time. And that's actually the reason why I gravitated towards art as a business. So it would be the furthest away from my personal creative pursuits, which at the time was music. I was really into making music. But I started interning at Gagosian Gallery, and I worked at Gagosian Gallery for 4 years. They didn't hire me, and then I went to Sotheby's, worked there for a while, and now I'm at Christie's. So
very cool. That's awesome. What instrument did you play, if you don't mind me asking?
I played them all. I very poorly too. I taught myself to play everything. I was mostly into music production. I really liked producing hip hop and dance music and that kind of stuff.
Very cool. That's awesome. And then, do you remember specifically what got you into art? Was it a specific artist, a style of work, or maybe a family member that was an artist?
Yeah, actually, my grandma was an artist on my mom's side. I never got to meet her because she died when my mom was really young. But we still have a bunch of her paintings, and they're really amazing abstract paintings and landscapes. But I think the first artwork that really moved me and that sticks with me is a Picasso. There's this bronze that he made, baboon with child, I think is the name of it. So it's a mother baboon holding her child to her chest, and her head is made out of like a toy car that's been ripped in half and put back together. And I remember as a kid just being completely distracted and not really stoked to be at a museum. And then in the last room they had that sculpture, and I thought that was the coolest thing, that they'd taken this car, ripped it in half, and it was cast in bronze, so it was like a step removed from the original object. And all of that like transformation, that magical leap from toy car to ape to bronze, it just, that was really fascinating to me, even at a young age. So that's when I first started drawing. I started drawing right around that.
Cool. That's awesome. And then you're head of digital sales. Like, what was your first experience with the NFTs and crypto?
It had to be very late in 2020 when Beeple had that string of sales at Nifty Gateway. Those are the first headlines that I saw around NFTs. I swear to God, I had no idea what NFTs were before Beeple and Nifty Gateway. And the Beeple sale that we did at Christie's, when that consignment came in, I didn't even know that we would be working with Beeple. We were introduced to Beeple via Maker's Place, and really the opportunity was presented to me as, do you want to sell an NFT? And there was a sort of 5-second gap where I was thinking, what's an NFT again? Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, I would try that. definitely. And then from that point on, my entire life has been nothing but NFTs. I went from being very generally specialized in post-war and contemporary art to now being completely narrowly, obsessively focused on NFTs.
That's very cool. So you said Beeple reached out to you, or how did that?
Maker's Place reached out to us and
Okay.
introduced us to people. So I don't know how. So, and I got to give a shout out to Megan. I don't know if Megan is listening, but my colleague Megan Doyle actually was the first to engage with Makers and introduce me. And I really was just in the right place at the right time. As the head of First Open, which is our online sale, I've been growing that category for 4 or 5 years. So that was just the first port of call was my office, my desk for an NFT.
Got it. Cool. That's awesome. And then, so how do you or other auction or others at auction houses kind of evaluate the actual value of a piece of art? Is that something where you get advice from other people? I mean, especially with the Beeple, obviously that sold for a significant amount of money.
Yeah, you don't say. Yeah, well, I mean, funny enough, we don't. Very often we don't. And for Beeple, we didn't. We didn't put an estimate on Beeple. One of the first things of very many things that I had to get clearance from legal to do with the Beeple sale was to publish estimate unknown. Usually we publish a range. There's a low estimate and a high estimate. And if we don't do that, then we'll publish estimate on request, which is this very kind of dusty, prestigious designation that we give to items that usually have a really, really big price tag. So I thought that estimate unknown was sort of a winking nod to that, to estimate on request, but was also just a signal that we really don't know what the fuck we're doing.
Yeah,
So yeah, that was the thinking there. And for most of the NFTs that we've offered so far, we haven't published estimates. We've really only published estimates for the punks, the crypto punks and evening sale from Larva Labs. Our estimate was 7 to 9 million, and that's because there's this compendium of data available for prices. But that's not necessarily true for some of the other NFTs that we've sold. There is no way to estimate an Andy Warhol NFT because there was never an Andy Warhol NFT before this moment that we're selling them. So I think there's really no easy answer to that one.
So do you think it'll take a couple of years before, once you start getting a lot more NFT sales on your belt that, you'll be able to get that information?
I think we're there now. We're now that we're heading into season 2, we've so far only announced a couple of things, but the curio cards that are coming up in the October 1st sale will have an estimate. I'm working on having an ETH only estimate, which would be another first for us. I like making the auction house do things for the first time, apparently.
Yeah, that's great.
But for that one, it should be 250 to 350 Ethereum if we can dot all of our I's, cross our T's. But switching from one currency to the next within a live auction will be a really interesting thing for us. And yeah, I think for a lot of these NFTs that are coming up this season, there will be published estimates. There's estimates on the punks in Hong Kong. Of course, they're totally ridiculously wrong by this point because I gave those estimates 4 weeks ago, and the punks market, like very many NFT markets,
skyrocketed. Yeah.
it's not very predictable. It's volatile, kind of like the cryptocurrency. So yeah.
When your colleagues, if you're going to accept Ethereum for these auctions and have estimates, like what's the pulse from, some of your coworkers as far as understanding cryptocurrency and NFTs? Are they just clueless at first, or do you have to educate them, or?
Well, God bless them, frankly, because I'm sure they're really annoyed with me at this point. I've gotten to the point where I'm mostly talking in Ethereum or switching like fluidly back and forth between USD and Ethereum, and it's very disorienting. Some estimates in my head are USD and others are Ethereum, and some prices and vice versa. But yeah, I think that actually crypto was one of the accelerants for the Beeple consignment, because the way that I got that across the finish line was wrapping the opportunity up in the packaging of crypto. Like this can be our chance to accept Ethereum or Bitcoin. And I knew that a lot of our executives were thinking about crypto around that time. So that was a part of the motivation for us to push through the Beeple sale. But yeah, I think that it runs the gamut. There are some people who are really curious about this stuff, and there are some people who reject it just as a kind of alien thing that they're never going to understand, so not even going to attempt it. But it's a mixed bag.
So do you think as far as, the cryptocurrency Ethereum, Do you think that'll be accepted for, the more traditional pieces that are being sold as well? Or do you think it'll
I want
always
it.
just be separate?
I mean, that will come when people want to have Ethereum. When the general population wants to be paid in cryptocurrency and understands it, then we will do that for all of the things that we sell. The reason that we're able to do it for crypto consignments is because all of the agreements that we send out for NFT based art sales stipulate if we get paid in XYZ cryptocurrencies, you will receive payment in XYZ cryptocurrencies. So there's no conversion happening. But in order to do that, it's this bespoke contract, and the person has to be comfortable accepting the crypto, which most of our clients just aren't. It doesn't make any sense. It's very alien to them.
Yeah.
But we're getting there slowly but surely.
So do you think people seem interested in learning about, NFTs and the secondary sale potential when it comes to, smart contracts?
Come at 100%. Yeah. People are fascinated by it. So some people are fascinated by the spectacle of it all, or the outrageous aspect of like a collectible without objecthood, right? It's sort of like the emperor's new clothes, or the emperor has no clothes, whatever the name of that book was. But I do think that the smart contracts are really, really fascinating. And I think when the audience understands what an NFT is, that it's a manifestation of somebody interacting with these smart contracts, and it's all really just a manifestation of decentralized apps running on a blockchain, that's a lot of steps to get to that point of understanding it. But if people do take their time and listen, I do think that it's a pretty amazing thing.
Cool. And then how do you think, art galleries and museums will adapt to the rise of NFTs? Do you think that's going to be something that everyone will eventually jump on board, or is it, some museums or galleries are just not going to be a part of it?
I have no idea. I've gotten to the point now where I don't try to predict the future. And I was tweeting about this earlier today, and I've been thinking about it a lot. It's like, how do you predict the future in a space where the people who are moving the space, who are really at the control panel, they don't have a concept of the future. It's like the future is now. The future is right now. So there is no such thing as a future. So there's no planning ahead. It's all just kind of happening and in media res. So I've given up on trying to consult my crystal ball.
I totally understand. It's got to be very challenging when you're dealing with the more traditional art world, and then you're in.
I'll say what I can say is, when it comes to galleries and museums, the stuff that is in galleries and museums is there because rich people want it to be there. So if rich people want NFTs to be in museums and in galleries, they will be there. They will be.
Yeah. Okay. No, I think that makes total sense. Does Christie's plan on building, some kind of metaverse auction house? Is that something that you think will be possible?
I really want to. Yeah, 100% I do. I've already asked for permission to conduct auctions in the metaverse, but there's all sorts of legal red tape around that idea. I mean, very many of my ideas end up in this kind of quarantine phase, and that's where the metaverse auction idea is for right now. But I do have current, more achievable metaverse ambitions. I'm not really interested in making like a one-to-one correspondence of something that already exists in the real world or something that you can do in the real world. I really think if you're building in the metaverse, you should be doing something that is completely different and dynamic and more kind of event focused than space focused. I would hate to create a space that just turns into like a ghost town, and then we don't innovate and like make it feel really vital and sort of like an agora for people to join and people to gather and exchange ideas or things, right? Like a marketplace. But yeah, we're still working out what that might look like. But it's definitely going to be an event and a place where people can come and interact with each other rather than just visit and like, say, oh, we did it. Check that box.
Yeah.
We have a thing in the metaverse, and then move on.
Got it. Oh, that makes sense. So going back to like more of the legal issues that you might have. So Christie's being as big as it is and needing to be careful when running things by legal, do you think Christie's will ever implement its own smart contract, or are there too many legal implications that would ever make this impossible or possible?
That was actually one of the first things I tried to pull off. And to our credit, like our CIO wrote an awesome smart contract. We deployed on testnet. We had our own little kind of tongue in cheek, almost profile picture style project that we were going to just drop into our new crypto friends wallets. But yeah, that one's probably not going to work out because of the concerns about liability. The token, the NFT, lasts forever and it rides on the blockchain and it's indelible and all that good stuff. But there's a concern about, even though there is IPFS and Arweave and all these things, there is a lingering concern about what if the token is compromised, because everything is going to be judged through the lens of the Beeple sale, at least for now, right? Everything is going to be, the stakes are so high. It's all the things we're selling in the mind of our support departments. They're all like $70 million things. So we're being really, really careful with our determinations. But yeah, the concern about potentially the token being compromised and no longer functioning is going to prevent us probably from ever having our own smart contract. So RIP for now. But
Yeah,
I try to explain, like, if your token is broken, it probably means you're looking for clean water and the world has experienced like an apocalyptic event. So the I don't know, the financial devastation of losing your NFT should be the last thing on your mind.
yeah. I think
But
so. I think that's understandable. I mean, Christie's having its own smart contract, maybe down the road, but not anytime soon. But could we ever see for provenance, NFTs originated and signed by an artist and then transferred to a Christie's wallet and then transferred to a collector's wallet? Is that ever a possibility?
we're working on that now. And I'm glad you recognize that that's like the next step for us. Really, you keyed in on it. It's really upsetting to me that our sales are happening off chain, that we're just so close to it being fully registered on the blockchain. And I do think that we'll get there. We're just working out some of the final smoothing out some of the final wrinkles in that one.
Yeah. And do you think a collector would want this type of provenance, as far as having like Christie's being like a part of that transaction?
100%, absolutely, without a doubt. I think it's really crucial. This is still early days, so I do believe that in the near future we will have all of our transactions recorded on chain.
Cool. That's awesome. And then
Somehow,
yeah,
some way.
exactly.
I'm fighting.
What do you think is the biggest advantage for auction houses to deal with digital NFTs as opposed to the more traditional physical art? Like, what's the biggest advantage do you think that auction houses have for that?
Oh, you mean like, is there a utility to selling NFTs as opposed to physicals? Well, I guess in the sense that you don't have to ship them, so and you don't have to photograph them, so you don't have to do any of that stuff. And in that sense, it's easier to handle NFT based artwork because there is no objecthood. But of course, there's a whole bunch of other weird things that you have to learn how to do, like transferring the token, and being a good custodian of this thing. The terror of potentially hitting the wrong key on your keyboard and sending something into the abyss. All of that is brand new for us. So I don't think we don't have an advantage when we're dealing with NFTs. It's much harder dealing with NFTs, which is kind of funny. I don't know if I would have expected that, but now that I've been through a bunch of NFT sales and seen how careful, and I'm really proud of my support teams for this too, how careful and deliberate they are. It's a different beast. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Are you the one then that sends it so that, if there's any heat, then it goes to you, or?
No,
Okay.
God, no. I can't, I can barely, I got to hang out here with you, man. I can't be
exactly.
tokens around and stuff. No, I have to exist in like all of the different social media and everything. And I'm actually pretty much a Luddite. In fact, if I wasn't such a Luddite, I would have minted Fidenzas, which is a sad story. But I was told, and I don't know if Trill is listening right now, but Trill the Beast told me that I had to mint Fidenzas and wouldn't stop telling me on Discord whenever I would pop in that I had to mint Fidenzas, and I didn't because I didn't have MetaMask on my new phone. Like, I just broken my phone. I didn't have my seed phrase around, and I was like, I don't know about this, and so I missed out. But if I was like a little more tech savvy, I could have just done that ASAP and but RIP.
Moving forward, I'm sure you won't make that mistake again. So
Well, I just make different mistakes. That's all.
We all make mistakes, so it's always something for someone. So going back to like that, the advantage of auction houses dealing with NFTs, I think one of the biggest ones would be knowing that the art is legit. Knowing that it comes from the artist itself, and then how. So obviously in the more traditional world, there's all these issues with, all right, is this real or is this fake? Like, how do what do your colleagues, say about, knowing, oh, how do you know that this NFT is legit? And you can be like, oh,
Yep.
well, it's coming from this person.
That's actually how I explain NFTs to art world people. I say, do you know like certificate of authenticity? It's an NFT is a certificate of authenticity plus. A certificate of authenticity is very flawed in that it's corporeal. It exists. You can lose it. It can be lost in a fire. It can be damaged in a flood. With NFTs, not only is it indelible and forever, but it is also the artwork itself, which is kind of mind bending. I mean, its utility is really impossible to ignore when you look at it that way from the lens of an art world person, because this is stuff that solves for not just authenticity testing, but record keeping of all sorts. Like what we do at an auction house, when we get a great Basquiat in for consignment, for example, we're going to crack open the books and we're going to try and find every illustration of that thing in every book that's ever been published on Basquiat. We're going to figure out what the provenance is, whoever owned it, what exhibitions it's been in. You got to reconstruct this like forensic identity of that artwork. And with a blockchain involved, if there's a blockchain from inception to the consignment, then you already have that whole history recorded. I mean, that's an insanely valuable tool. And it's also, I mean, one of the first light bulb moments I had with NFT where I realized because after Beeple, right, I could have just gone back to selling regular art, but I decided to stay in this because, I was looking at the CryptoPunks website and I was doing some research on their project, and I started to realize, holy shit, all of these offers are being recorded in real time. I can see what wallets these punks are coming from. I know I can trace them all back to their origins. And if a tool like that, if a resource like that existed for an artist like Pablo Picasso or Vincent van Gogh, those marketplaces would be so much different than they are right now, because the whole art industry is based on subterfuge and cloak and dagger and who knows where the bodies are buried. If that is public knowledge, then the whole ecosystem changes, and I would argue that it changes for the better.
Yeah, definitely. It's fascinating. What do you think is the biggest challenge that auction houses face when it comes to selling traditional art versus selling NFTs?
Well, I mean, it's really simple. At the end of the day, your goals are exactly the same, right? You're just trying to maximize the profits. You're trying to get the best result for the consignor and the best result for the house and for yourself. Everybody who's working in this field, they have some skin in the game as far as their own reputation and their own adrenaline and their own ego and pride. I think with NFTs, the difficult thing is engaging with the audience in a really authentic and true way. Like coming on here and talking to you guys is not an intuitive thing probably for a lot of people in the art world, but it's something that I'm really excited about. And like I've been looking forward to this all week. This is I think the challenge is the social aspect of NFTs, and the community aspect of NFTs is so much stronger, so much more prevalent, and so much more crucial to the whole ecosystem than it is in contemporary art. People used to go to the openings at galleries, right, and sip wine and all that. But with NFTs, that gallery opening is happening all the time. Discord's always open. Like there's somebody in there, and you can engage with those people. You have to, and that is a new challenge for us, for sure.
Definitely. Do you think, I'm thinking down the road, do you think Christie's would ever branch off and then open up an auction house solely for NFTs? Or is this something where, the traditional art and NFTs will kind of like live side by side, moving forward?
Man, that's another crystal ball question, dude. Who knows? I think for right now, no. For right now, NFTs are still the special sauce, right? Like you don't want to have a whole plate of sriracha for dinner. Like this is at Christie's. As far as Christie's is concerned, NFTs are still the special sauce that you sprinkle in there. But God knows, I mean, this market has been moving at such an insane clip. We could definitely find a way to make that work. But I'm still the only full-time NFT person at Christie's. So I'm not trying to have my own
For
auction
now.
house by myself. No, I
Yeah.
can barely handle what I got going on. So, but yeah, who knows? Anything's
Yeah.
possible.
I agree. Yeah, I think, only time will tell before I'm sure you'll have many more people dealing with, digital art and in your field. So, as of now, we've seen a small handful of NFTs sold at, major auction houses. How many years do you think, and this could be a crystal ball question again, but like how many years do you think it would take for us to see like a 50-50 mix of more traditional physical pieces, and 50% of, just NFTs being sold at auction houses? Do you think we're moving in that direction?
I think we are definitely trending towards having more NFTs in our sales, obviously. But I do see also this, I don't know, this opportunity really to mix them in instead of having them in their own kind of separate category. And this is, I guess, my honest answer to your last question is, do I think that there should be another auction house, like another Christie's for just NFTs? I kind of don't want that to be the thing. Like, I'd rather see NFTs just becoming a new established medium. Like, we don't have the paintings auction house and the sculptures auction house. Like, they're mixed into these sales together. They're just art. It's just contemporary art. And I think that NFTs can live under that umbrella. And the more we see contemporary artists like Damien Hirst and Tom Sachs and whoever's up next, right, enter into the NFT space, it's going to become more of an accepted practice for contemporary artists. So yeah, I think in an ideal world, we don't see this weird kind of separate but equal segregation of NFTs. We see a much more organic kind of absorption of NFTs into the programming of contemporary art.
Got it. So I didn't see this, but somebody in our community saw it. They saw that there were jobs being, I guess, NFT job openings at Christie's. Like, how big of a team are you trying to build, and what kind of roles do they have? Oh. Well, it looks like we might have a technical difficulty with Noah. We'll just, are you there, Noah?
So, can you hear me all right? My service.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Do you hear me all right?
Oh, good. You're good. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Great. I lost internet for a second.
No, you're totally fine. I was just like, oh man, I thought
we were hiring precisely 2 people.
2 people. Yeah, sorry. It looks like we're having just You're good.
I've lost you again, man. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. Do you hear me now?
Am I still good? Am I okay?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
right.
I can.
I can sort of hear you. You're jumping around a little bit, but we're hiring 2 people, and one is going to be a coordinator and sort of an assistant and Padawan to me, because I just desperately need another set of hands, and then somebody who we're hiring to be a kind of business director, project lead, who can sign off on the money stuff and actually make sure that we're adhering to our goals and those kind of things.
Got it. Okay. And what do you enjoy about generative art? Us being obviously art blocks, dealing with generative art. Like, what do you enjoy about it? And do you foresee any particular, evolutions thereof that you're excited about?
Well, my favorite thing about generative art is the way that it picks apart or totally demolishes this myth of the heroic artist. Like, I think a lot about that picture of Picasso on the beach in his underpants. I don't know. That's weird. That now that I hear that out loud, it's weird to say that. But I think about that picture and how ridiculous it is that it creates this idea of the artist as this kind of godlike figure. It's the same thing for Jackson Pollock, like leaning over the canvas with the cigarette dangling out of his mouth. I think that's kind of a shitty thing ultimately for artists. And there's something kind of nice about with art blocks, the idea that the algorithm is creating the art, and that you are kind of creating the art by interacting with the smart contract. That's really refreshing because it removes all of that baggage of the artist's identity. And I love that every curated project is a different artist's vision, but it's all part of the same lexicon and language. So you can have a constant stream of stuff coming out. Like I mean, as much as I love Snowfro's Squiggle, I don't want every week for it to be squiggles and squiggles and squiggles. Would just get boring. No offense, but that's I just love that this community element of it, that it's sort of a competition almost, and a game that's played, and that speaks to the community aspect of NFTs again too.
Got it. And then what art blocks do you have, if any?
I am poor, so I do not own art blocks. Like I said, I had a chance.
You don't have art blocks?
I don't.
Okay.
I have one Ethereum to play with at any given moment. So bear with me. But one day, maybe. My favorite project is probably Fidenzas. I know I've said Fidenzas a million times, but I also really like the elevated deconstructions. I like Squiggles. I like the scribbled boundaries. I know the scribbled boundaries are a bit of some people don't love the scribbled boundaries, but I'm into it. Yeah, I don't know. I love them all. I think that they're really, really fun, and each have their own kind of identity. But I think as like an art guy who comes from the art world, there's something about Tyler Hobbs and the Fidenzas that really hits me. It's like Broadway Boogie Woogie by Mondrian is one of my favorite paintings. And there's definitely a Broadway Boogie Woogie vibe to the Fidenzas.
Very cool. And then do you think, because obviously some of the art that we have on art blocks is animated, and then some of it is more like static images. Do you think either or would speak more to the traditional, auction people, or is it just kind of like whatever?
It's all going to be equally disorienting and off-putting for a lot of people in the space. You have to also remember, I mean, not the space, we're talking about the anti-space. For a lot of people in the meat space, in the art world, NFTs are inherently disinteresting because of the blockchain, because that is going, the blockchain, a lot of folks realize it will ruin their business model. It totally dismantles the way they used to do business, and they don't want to have to reinvent the wheel, basically. So I think a lot of these takedowns that you see around NFTs have a lot to do with this fear of change. There's no aesthetic judgment, really. I think a lot of it comes down to just the fear that this is going to eclipse their entire way of doing business.
Got it. And then we had somebody ask, should Christie's buy a share in OpenSea or help build a competitor?
I don't know, man. I really don't know. That's a great idea. I can't comment at all if we're thinking about anything like that. I don't know.
All right. I will take that as you're not sure. That's totally fine. Do you see New York City? Do you see New York City and London as hubs for art still, or has the market, become more distributing?
Well, I mean, definitely the buyers are not as clustered for NFTs as they are in traditional blue chip fine art. Like, I think for our regular contemporary art sales, most of the buyers are in and around New York City, Los Angeles, Miami and Florida, that area, Palm Beach. And then London and all the other obvious places too. But with NFTs, we had bidding all over the world, and I think part of that has to do with shipping. And we may end up in a space and time where there are no sale rooms in places, right, where everything is taking place in the metaverse. But again, we're getting towards the crystal ball territory. But I think it's a cool idea. If we're capable of holding an auction in the metaverse, I don't see any reason why we have to have them in specific cities on the planet.
Very cool. And are you familiar with Cyber? It's like an online art gallery exhibit space. Do you think, since you are, do you think that Christie's would ever, showcase some of the art in one of those galleries? Like, if they can create these. What's cool about it is that you can basically, if you were to get somebody, they can help create the 3D space, and then obviously you can showcase some of the different pieces maybe that you're auctioning off in there. Do you think that would be a possibility?
Yeah. I think what if we are going to do something like that, we would build our own bespoke metaverse destination space for it. We just don't, at this point in time, don't have plans to build one. I think we're also trying to be strategic about where we build and when we build, based on kind of like the critical mass moment. when people are really spending serious amounts of time in Decentraland, and one of these metaverse wins out, then we'll probably, stake our flag and buy a plot and like actually build something permanent. But for now, I think we're more focused on events, and engagement within the metaverse, not exactly exhibition.
Got it. And then, so in like the showroom that you have inside of like New York City, and if there are pieces that are interactive where you actually have to touch the screen or there's like sound, is that something that eventually those will be things you consider? Because I feel like we had a Art Blocks auction, a couple months ago, and there's some pieces that were interactive, but I felt like it wasn't displayed properly. Do you think that's something where eventually, once this becomes like a more regular thing, that Christie's or auction houses in general will incorporate, in the showroom, have speakers if there's like music involved, or touch screens like an iPad or something?
Yeah, 100%. We're super sensitive to that now, of course. I mean, I don't know how closely you've paid attention to like the auctions we've done, but there was some feedback, some negative feedback about the Punks exhibition that we did, where I had this fun idea to create little tiny versions of the CryptoPunks and hide them within Christie's. That clearly backfired. So yeah, we're sensitive to this. We want to do what makes the audience feel good, what makes the community feel good, and this gets back around to the whole community thing too. So if there's an interactive quality to the piece, we definitely want to be respectful of the artist's vision. There are a bunch of NFT sales we have coming up in the fall where we're trying to anticipate and plan really, really carefully how we exhibit the work. So definitely something that's front of mind for us.
Cool.
And
Awesome.
really important too.
Yeah. I mean, obviously this is a very much a community driven. So NFTs are very community driven. So yeah. So you would accept feedback, I guess, if Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
I mean, we just announced the curio cards in the October 1st sale earlier this week, and I've been in their Discord kind of soliciting feedback, asking how they want to see it installed, and we kind of organically came to a decision together within the Discord, and that felt really good and felt right, and certainly that's the kind of approach that we want to take.
Cool. Very awesome. And then, does Christie's have any plans to work with Art Blocks artists directly, or is this something where it'll be more of general with like multiple projects?
The greatest reward in my career so far has been, thanks to NFTs, getting to work directly with artists. I am always down to collaborate with artists directly. Like, helping them to realize their vision is so great and feels so good in a way that just selling art on consignment for people, just it can't touch it. It really can't touch it. Getting to work with Ferocious, for example, and his kind of infectious energy, and getting to see how this sale really changed his life. That was, I mean, I don't want to sound corny, but it was borderline magical. So I will pursue any opportunity to have that kind of feeling and to have that kind of triumph, help that artist triumph. I will pursue that. Yeah, for sure.
And so if, for instance, if there's an artist on Art Blocks or specific people that have a collection, do they reach out to you, or do you reach out to them, or how does that work as far as
Right now,
option?
I would say our business and my approach is pretty reactive, because out of necessity, truly, because so
Yeah.
many people are coming to me constantly, either with their projects and their art, and they want to talk to me about it, or their intellectual property. It's actually a lot of people with intellectual property, not necessarily artists, who are coming to try to figure out what their strategy will be. But I have gone out of my way to talk to certain artists who I think are making really compelling work, who have been introduced to me from some of the amazing collectors that I've met in the space, and just different amazing people. Like Justin Aversano has introduced me to so many amazing folks. A lot of people I've met along the way have helped to make these connections. And so, yeah, I think we're still in a pretty reactive state for now, but I am going out there trying to make new inroads with new artists who I think are making compelling work.
Got it. And then, so I hear you have some big news that you want to share with us.
Oh, I might. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I'm just going to go ahead and pop open this video real quick, because in the video is our next big consignment. So before I pop that open, actually,
Yeah.
October 1st, post-war and contemporary art sale in New York, live auction. This is where we're selling the full set of curio cards. So all the 30 cards plus the misprint 17B. And so far, that's the only NFT that's announced in the sale. It's one lot that contains 31 non-fungible tokens. And similarly, this consignment is one lot, but features a lot of mints, and they are art blocks, and they look like this.
All right.
So it is, yeah. These are full collections here. We got 1, 2, and 3. This is coming from the collection of Barcella or Barcella. I don't know how you pronounce it, dude. I know you're watching right now, but I realize we've only corresponded online, so I don't know if it's C or Ch. But Barcella or Barcella, shout out to him. That's the collector. This is all a single collection of art blocks that has been accumulated over the past year. And this will be in the contemporary art sale at Christie's on October 1st.
Wow.
So I'm really excited about that.
That's amazing. So how many total pieces are there? You said it's series 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah. I think it's 36. Is that right? 36 or 31 in that region? I'm not good with numbers.
I can't remember. I think there was 29 for season 1 and 2. So no, I mean, wait. I'll have to check.
Devil's in the details, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't thought of. Wait, are we in season 4 already?
Yeah, we're in season 4. Yeah, we're like 4 weeks, 5 weeks deep.
Yeah. So we decided, that's the thing, is we could have kept going. Like we were thinking about, keep on adding more to the collection, but we'd rather have it be 3 complete sets. So that's what we're going with.
We had that difficult decision too. There was incredible art after season 1 and 2 for our last consignment, but we just felt that kind of having that full set really made sense. So yeah, I totally respect that. That's really exciting, man.
I could not be more thrilled. I mean, this all came together really quickly, and it was almost like fate, because I'm here. I already knew I was going to be on your guys' After Dinner Mint show when this thing happened, so it's just perfect.
Perfect timing.
I couldn't be more grateful, man. I'm really just so glad that this movement happened, and artists from your guys' community are on this stage now at Christie's. That kind of jet propulsion, that catapult onto this main stage has been, getting to be a part of that is so amazing. So thanks. It's to you guys. Like, you guys all built this thing. I'm just here helping to onboard the world or whatever, and teach them about this new art form. It's you guys that made it. So
I know the Discord is just going bananas right now. I can just see the thread just like flying down. I'm curious. So, like, when does this auction start? How long does it last?
So this is gonna be fun. So this is a live sale. It's not an online auction. So you're gonna have, if you want to bid on these things, you're gonna need to do it live, the old-fashioned way. Not like in the room. If COVID is still a thing, we're not even gonna have people in the room. But I'll be on the phone. I'll be really stressed out. I'll be bidding. If you watched when we were selling the CryptoPunks, same kind of thing. I've got the phone in my ear. A bunch of other people with the phones. Guy on the rostrum, or girl on the rostrum with the gavel. But yeah, it's going to happen on October 1st in New York. It's going to be the lot following curio cards. So if you're interested in both curio cards and art blocks, good news, they're going to be in the same little section of the sale. But yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting.
And you'll do the expected value in ETH on this one, or not yet?
Yeah, we're working on it. I want the estimate to be in ETH. We're still working on that, as I mentioned earlier. So hang tight. That's not confirmed just yet. But if all things go according to plan, then this will be an ETH estimate. Bidding will be conducted in ETH. We will take Ethereum.
That's crazy to see bidding in ETH in a real auction and like a live.
I know.
Auction.
I haven't. How cool is this, dude? I have a meeting on Tuesday this week where we're going to talk about how increments will work for Ethereum with the IT guys, the people who are running the screen, and the lawyers and the auctioneer. Like, we're teaching them how to talk ETH. It's cool.
Wow,
that's super cool. So October 1st is when it is. Is that correct?
October 1st. Okay. October 1st. It's on.
Oh.
on the calendar.
You're breaking up pretty
You're breaking
bad.
up a little bit, Noah. We'll give it another.
Everybody thought I was like a psyop or a bot. I Discord and everything. Screen sharing.
Can you hear me now, Noah?
I'm back.
Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah,
It's a magic
my
act.
screen sharing. Did I like? It was right when I said that they thought I was a robot too, and then I turned into a robot on your side. So yeah, after I announced Curio Cards, everybody thought I was a robot or a psyop, and they were asking, where is it? Where's the official announcement? I don't know when the official announcement's going to happen for Art Blocks. It's coming soon, but for now, this is the official announcement. It's in the October 1st sale. That sale's on our calendar. So this is the real deal. Thanks again to Barcella in the great country of Canada for trusting me on this one. And thank you to the Art Blocks community too. This has been really special.
So are you going to be able to provide us, obviously not now, but leading up to it, a link to the entire live stream and then like kind of a ballpark time frame?
Yep. 100%. So we usually go about like one lot per minute. So depending on what lot number it is in the sale, I think it's going to be fairly upfront. I mean, as it should be at the front of the sale because it's like the coolest thing in the sale. But I think it'll be like lot 15 or 20 or 30. Like that's where usually the top billing lot goes. Like lot 1 is usually the hot young contemporary thing that people are going to bid up for, or it's like the really valuable like sleeper hit kind of thing. But yeah, they usually wind up in the big ticket items in the teens or the 20s.
Okay, well that's super exciting. I really appreciate you providing that piece of news. I know a lot of people in the community are very excited. Is there anything else you want to add before we kind of move on to our next segment? We really appreciate you being on.
Man, I want to say thank you again for having me, and this has just been the greatest joy of my career so far, working in this stuff and getting to be on the bleeding edge of whatever this thing is amazing. So thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would love to have you on, 6 months, 8 months, maybe even like a year from now. I know a lot will change, so it'll just be interesting to see, where we are now and then where we are, down the road. I think would be super interesting.
100%. I would love to do that. Where are they now, NFTs?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Love it. Okay, cool. Well, we appreciate you again, Noah Davis, for being on. Actually, Eric, did you have anything that you wanted to ask Noah?
I do. I have some things, but are you going to stick around, Noah, while we do the Squiggle Mint? Because I can ask you some stuff then.
Yeah, I'll just hang out.
Okay.
I don't have anywhere to be.
Yeah, you got to hang out, man. It's for the Squiggle. You could win this, This could be your first Art Blocks NFT right here.
The first Art Block.
Yeah.
Damn. No
All right.
pressure.
Well, we're going to move on to our Squiggle giveaway. I'm going to drop a link inside of the Art Blocks Mints channel. Are you on the Discord, Noah?
I'm jumping in there now.
Okay. Make sure you go in the Art Blocks Mints channel. I'm going to drop a link. I'll drop it a couple times. You have to answer 4 questions correct. I'm just going to drop it a bunch because there's too much typing going on. So there's going to be 4 questions, 3 minutes to answer all 4 questions correct. You'll need to answer all 4 questions correctly. And for those who get all answers correct within 3 minutes, their names will be put into a number generator, and one person will be the winner for a brand new shiny Squiggle. So while we do that, I'm going to go ahead and talk to us, about the love to see it highlights of the week. Definitely not going to forget these. So for the first one, it's from D. Bachman wants to nominate NFT Youngboy, who owned the ENS TylerHobbs.eth, and they thoughtfully gifted the ENS domain to the artist this week after their massive Fidenza sale this past Monday. So shout out to NFT Youngboy from D. Bachman. Let me make sure I'll post the link in a couple more times. Yeah, make sure you use the artblocks.wiki page because that's where you're going to find most of the answers for today's
Just so we're not waiting like 10 minutes for y'all to find it.
Yeah.
No offense to previous winners, but yeah, sometimes it's like, all right, yeah, we're just chilling, waiting.
Yeah. Yeah. Make sure whoever wins just to have your ETH address or your wallet address ready and send it to Snowfro directly. Or, you can send it to myself and I'll send it to Snowfro, but to either one of us.
And don't send us your private keys.
Yeah, don't send that. You can send that to me later. No, I'm joking. Don't do that at all. So the number 2 is shout out to Blackbird for donating a piece from the Dreams project back to Josh, who is the artist. It was just a very thoughtful gesture. So shout out to Blackbird for giving back a Dreams mint to the artist Josh. Number 3, we have a big shout out to Proper for raffling off a Sailobot out of their own wallet for a fellow community member. It seems like this has been a really cool, community experience. And so, big shout out to Proper for raffling off a Sailobot. And then number 4, we have a community member, Solve, was scammed out of a Pigments and username Seal bought it unknowingly. Then they listed it at Floor and are sending profits back to Solve so that they can recover some of the lost funds. So definitely love to see that. People looking out for each other in the community. And that wraps up the highlights of the week. If there's any other cool things that are happening in the Discord, anything positive, just drop me a DM, with 2-3 lines, just kind of explaining it, and we'll add it on to the following weeks. Love to see it highlights. So where are we at, Luke? How much more time? 45 seconds. So by the time you see this, I'll just type it in the Discord.
Noah, have you read the book, The $12 Million Stuffed Shark?
Yep. Not in a while. I read it when I was in college, I think.
There's a bunch of people here that are reading that as, I think, part of their book club, unless it's already over. I read that or listened to it, I guess, like about a month ago, and just wish that wasn't written in 2005. And just feel like there's just so much to cover. And it was very, very pertinent to what we're experiencing now. Branded artists, branded art, branded galleries. It just completely blew my mind. But I wonder if there's a book that kind of follows that's a little bit more current, that you would say kind of is like the $12 million Stuffed Shark of 2021 or even 2015. Honestly, just
man, I'll be totally honest with you, man. I haven't read anything having to do with the art world in so long because I live in it, so I don't feel like sure. I have been writing a little bit. I could send you some stuff I've written. I've written a couple of little essays about just working in the art world that are pretty fun. I'm sorry, I don't have a good rec for you.
Cool. Yeah, we need to figure something out. I'm desperate to read more and learn more about what's going on in this space.
Well, I'm trying to think. I mean, there have been a couple of really fascinating articles, long form essays and stuff. The New Yorker article about Yves Bouvier is really amazing, really crazy. If you haven't heard, do you know about that story?
No, I don't.
Oh man, I can't really get into it very much because anyway, but you should read it. The Yves Bouvier New Yorker article. It's about the guy that sold the Da Vinci that we sold, the Leonardo da Vinci painting that we sold for $450 million. This guy sold it to a Russian oligarch for $100 million. He bought it in a private treaty from Sotheby's for $50 million. Turns out he was bilking this guy for allegedly bilking this guy for a lot more than he told him he was charging him. He told him he was charging him 2%. He was probably charging him 100% markup every single time.
Wow.
But this is allegedly. Yeah. I don't know anything about that, but the article's good. The New Yorker article's good.
Wow. Cool.
Well, it looks like Luke, are you ready to get the number generator? All right. We have how many? 172 people. Wow, that's insane. So no bots, right? We'll see. Yeah, we'll see, I guess. All right, well, let's hit it, Luke. Creating a little bit of suspense. Number 16. All right, we're going to move up to number 16. Jimbo 3816. Please send your ETH address to Snowfro immediately.
Congrats, Jimbo.
Jimbo, congrats. And they only entered once. We just double checked that. Congratulations to Jimbo 3816. All right. Looks like we're going to see a squiggle. if you can go ahead and send your address, let us know, Snowfro, once you receive that, and I'll stop announcing it.
Yeah, well, and while we do this too, I don't know if one of our newest mods / heroes is on Discord, but Pascal from OpenSea has literally just like completely saved our ass over the last week with botters and attacks, like literal bot attacks in our Discord, plus put down all these crazy new scam sites on OpenSea. Like people getting real savvy, right? And they're releasing a storefront for the art that's dropping that day with art for like super cheap, and people are getting scammed, and they literally take it down. He now has a team of like 5 people that are in different time zones so that we can ping them and they can take down stuff on OpenSea all the time. So I thought that Pascal was, there's the Jimbo 3816. Yeah. So I'd love to personally meet Pascal Squiggle. I won't make everybody wait for it, but I'm going to do it right after the show because, man, it'd be crazy to see what our life would be like if it wasn't for his contributions. Yeah, okay, to all the squigglers that are signing the multi-sig, if you could check Gnosis, and I'll be looking for it as it comes. I should probably ping the squigglers. And the security stuff really slows stuff down, but it's worth it.
Cool. Well, while we wait for that, I'll go ahead and announce next week's guest. So that's on September 5th, next Sunday at our normal time, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. We have Sophia Garcia with Artex Code. She's also on the curation board. And then we also have Greg from Squiggle DAO. So we'll have Sophia Garcia, Artex Code, and then Greg from Squiggle DAO, both on next week's show on September the 5th.
All right, transactions in place. Oh man, I keep forgetting to speed it up. Oh, I didn't have to speed it up. Yay. All right, y'all.
All right, Luke's about to post it on the...
Striker, I wish I could do it live. I can't do it live ever since we went to Androsity Squiggle. Yes, Cosmic Kramer. I am hand drawing every single one. Let's see, where's the art? Oh, we're in the channel already. All right, it should come through any minute, guys. It's already been transacted.
Cool, excellent. Well, while we wait, do you have any news or notes?
We have a really, really, really exciting announcement for everybody tomorrow involving a new staff member that's joining our Blocks, followed by another one joining us the next Monday. I'm going to leave that in suspense as well for the next Monday. But yeah, really, really, really excited to... oh, there you go. Man, that's beautiful. Congrats, Jimbo.
Congrats, Jimbo. It's awesome.
Yeah, really, really excited to kind of be growing the team. We are also talking to I think we have 2 signed offer letters back from 2 more brilliant people. For what it's worth, I think Art Blocks has somehow managed to get to this point with a lot of the original infrastructure that I built in 2020, plus some insane upgrades, like especially like on the rendering side. That have been added, and also the querying side. Like there's some crazy stuff that happens on the back end, but what you see on the front end is a lot of what I built. And I know we keep delaying this website, but I'm just really excited for you guys to see what's coming now that we're bringing on significantly more people. I think our team as of next Monday will be 9. No, we'll be 11. Wait, am I making numbers up? Maybe 9.
It'll be 9 after not after tomorrow, but after
so next Monday, yeah. And then it'll be 11 by September 20th. And if trajectories kind of go the way they're going, we'll probably be at 15 very soon after that. So I owe everybody here, just a thanks for bearing with just what's going on. Like I know I say this a lot, but we were kind of moving at a normal pace and things were fine. The platform was really doing everything I wanted it to do. And then we literally sold 90% of what we've sold in the last 6 weeks. And there's just no way to kind of scale a company that quickly, but be very, 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 very assured that there will be a very direct relationship between the amount of activity that Artblocks has in the ecosystem and the number and caliber of people that will be joining our team in the next six or so weeks. So yeah, stay tuned. I owe everybody at least that. And then a bunch of thanks for sticking around while we kind of have our little hiccups along the way. I'm still having fun, and I think it's about to be a lot more fun here pretty soon. So thanks.
Well, we appreciate everything you do. I know it's definitely been a challenging few weeks, but, you know, it seems like the community is rallying around everyone. And, yeah, I think we all still can admit that we love Artblocks, so no problem there. Was there anything else that you want to add, or are you all good?
Thank you, Noah, for the great news. Oh my gosh, and thank you for joining us. And you know, I see you in the CryptoPunks Discord like every day. So maybe we'll see a little bit more of you in the Artblocks Discord.
I have a problem maybe, but it's a good problem to have because I don't know, man. I've had more fun in the last 6 months than I have my entire year, every other year of my career combined. So
awesome.
I'm loving it.
A lot of us feel similarly. So yeah, no, we're glad to have met you, and thank you for everything, man. Thank you for even considering Artblocks for your consignment. It's awesome.
It is my great pleasure, sincerely.
Awesome. And also, Noah, would you mind actually? I know you have an image of all 30 or so mints from that project or pieces from that project. Would you mind, you know, posting that inside of the Artblocks Mints channel? So I know people will be
100%. Yeah.
Great.
I'm also gonna tweet it out, and then I'm gonna go back to watching the X-Files.
There you go. Is it the new one or the old one?
The old one. I'm rewatching that. I just got to season 2. My wife is in the other room waiting for me to rejoin her. But yeah, it's starting to heat up.
That's why the bandwidth has gone down, because X-Files is in the background. Probably, right?
Probably. Honestly, probably. She's skipping ahead right now. I gotta go deal with this.
Well, at least it's for X-Files. So we really appreciate Noah for joining us tonight. Next week, like I said, we're gonna have Sophia Garcia and then Greg from Squiggle DAO next week. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe to the Artblocks YouTube channel. Be kind to each other. Remember to buy what you love, and we will see everyone next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
I'll take care.